Time has a funny way of showing us what's really important. For it's measured not just in the seconds ticking by on an oversized wall clock, but by the moments and memories that tell the story of our life. Sometimes those moments make us laugh, sometimes they make us cry. And sometimes they are fleeting, gone, before we ever experience them in the first place. Life has had a cruel way of making me forget the moments I should remember, but remember the moments that I really should forget. Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, I was 42 years old when my boss gave me the ultimate gift, the gift of time. It's the gift you get when you get fired. What my boss really took from me that day wasn't just a paycheck or a job. It was an identity. What about you? Have you ever forgotten who you are? For the next few months, I kind of walked around in a fog, unable to focus. I kind of felt like I was Wile E. Coyote. Like I had been chasing after this mythical goal, run off the edge of a cliff, looked down, started to fall. I couldn't see the bottom, but I was pretty sure an anvil was about to hit me in the head. One night, I was sitting at the edge of my bed, my eyes slowly cleansing my cheeks. And again, when the passing of time forced me to reevaluate the moments that I thought told the story of my life. It's so easy for us to live our life for someone else, to become a Sherpa for other people's expectations, carrying around a weight we can never unload. Every good Sherpa will tell you, without the right map, you'll never get where you are supposed to go. I remember right before I went to college, sat my dad down and said, "Dad, I figured out what I want to do with my life. I'm going to become a teacher." The silence was deafening. Eventually, as he turned his face, I could see a single tear cleansing his cheek. I always thought you'd be an accountant. An accountant. Well, I showed him. Just 5.5 years later, I graduated with a 4-year degree in accounting. Have you ever met an accountant that can't do math? Now you have. I graduated in the part of my class that made the top 70% possible. Fortunately for people everywhere, the CPA exam ensured I would go professional in something besides accounting. Yes. When I went into retail management, I always said, I'm just going to do this till I figure out what I want to do with my life. I never thought it would become my life. And now that it was, and it was gone, I didn't know where to go. One night, my wife and I were having a conversation about the debacle that was our rehearsal dinner. She reminded me of the night right before our wedding. All of our friends and family were gathered. It was the first time my parents were in the same room at the same time since their divorce when I was in high school. I was having a conversation. My best friend, my mother, and eventually my father, who sauntered on over and said, "Hey son, aren't you going to introduce me to your lady friend?" My lady friend? Sure. Dad, meet mom. Mom, meet dad. I'm your offspring. My buddy dropped to the ground, writhing on the floor with laughter like a wounded hyena. Let me tell you, if you ever get the chance to introduce your parents to each other, priceless. Oh. But my wife said something so prophetic that night. She said, if your father can forget your mother, clearly you can forget one moment you think defines you. Wow, she's so right. Because the human mind is such a fickle thing. It remembers the things that we feed it most often. I remember way back when I was in college, I went to see U2 play Three River Stadium. One of the best shows I've ever seen. They played everything. But during the encore, the stadium lost power. Everything went black. So my buddy and I stumbled up the stairs. He turned to me and said, dude, they ruined the show. What are you talking about? It was a phenomenal show. It was just a minor glitch at the end. A minor glitch at the end. Isn't that what getting fired really was? Just a minor glitch at the end of an otherwise stellar career? In that moment, I realized my boss hadn't taken anything from me. She had given me the chance to figure out who I was. For the gift of time isn't something you get, it's something you give. Every moment that you invest in someone else to help them find their genius, to help them become the person they were meant to be, that is the gift of time. 6 years have passed since my boss liberated me. And in that time, I started a business, I wrote a book, and I earned that master's degree that eluded me for far too long. I may not teach in a classroom, I have become a teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, if time is measured not just by the seconds ticking by on an oversized wall clock, but by the moments and memories that make up the story of your life, what type of story are you telling? Our life is not about our successes and failures. It is a product of our possibilities, our strengths, and our choices. Life is a one-time event. What are you going to do with your gift of time?